I want to show you something. Point is, something as mundane and fundamental as currency can be cool if you know what to do with it. So let's look at a few ideas. We'll start simple and then get into some more exotic ideas later. If you've been to any crafting store, you've probably seen some wood circles like this. Now the obvious use is to paint it metallic gold and then you've got a gold piece. But forget about the standard material plane. I'm wondering about Celestia or Bitopia. Depending on your interpretation of these planes, they may very well have a need for currency. So what if we take some light blue and mix it with pearlescent, and we'll coat the disc with it. Then we'll paint on a triangle with metallic gold. And then at each point of the triangle, we're going to white glue a Swarovski crystal. We'll do an amber, a blue, and a purple. And we need a name for this coin, so how about the Seraph? Yeah, that fits. Now along those lines, what about Gehenna or Hades? Even a fiend has to bring home the bacon, right? So let's take some metallic black and coat the disc with it. We might need 2 coats. Then with plain white, we'll paint on a 5-pointed star. Disclaimer, kids, don't go worshipping demons or the 9 hells. That is not cool. We're just playing pretend here. Anyway, at each point on the star, just glue a blood red crystal. Yeah, so I'll dub this, how about the Cruel, spelled with a K. I recently ran a campaign in a remote desert region where they didn't recognize gold or silver. Their precious materials were copper and jade. So let's make one Jaden, which is a hunk of jade mounted in a 7-sided disc of granite. From double corrugated cardboard, cut out a heptagon, which is a 7-sided polygon. Just Google it, print one, and use it as a stencil, then cut out the shape. Now apply corrugation cladding. And paint it up like stone. I'm just using my normal dungeon scheme. Then we're going to take a green glass bead, which you can find at any craft store, Walmart, pretty much anywhere, and hot glue it to the center. So that is one Jaden, which is equated to roughly 1 gold piece. Now we're going to make what I call a copper judge. Let's cut a rectangle from double corrugated cardboard, 2 inches long and 1¼ inch wide. And we'll apply corrugation cladding. And paint the whole thing in metallic copper. You might need 2 coats to get the right luster. Now take a black Sharpie and write some characters on the bar. This is like the serial number. And if you've seen raw copper, you know that it oxidizes very rapidly. So get some dark green and sponge it on in just a few spots. Then get a brighter green, this is a true green that I'm using, and sponge it on as well, but only in the same places as you did the dark green. And lastly, I call this an arcane mark. So draw this bow tie shape that you see here on the right and cut it out. Any kind of cardstock will do. Then draw some slightly smaller versions of that same shape and cut them out as well. You'll need 2 small ones for each big one. Now hot glue a small one to each side of a big one. Paint it totally in gunmetal. 2 coats will probably be needed. And then with a metallic purple, I'm going to paint on some arcane runes. And I'll make the runes different among each coin, maybe indicating how much it's worth. Actually, I'm thinking these coins might be used in a wizard city or something like that. So maybe they work like gift cards. The rune indicates how much that coin is still worth. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take some plain white and just nick at the edges here to make it pop. And that is an arcane mark. So I don't know about you, but inspiration can come from anywhere. Reading through the monster manual, some random detail in a monster description, I've built an entire session around it, or even a campaign. And no exaggeration, that's what happened here. I just thought, what if there was a region where copper and jade were the precious materials? That's what currency was. What would that do to the players? And I built an entire campaign setting around the idea of different currency, and that's all it took. So the players arrived, and of course, rich as they were penniless because no one recognized gold. So they had to visit a money changer, and he only traded out at 90% efficiency, and they haggling. So that set up an entire role-playing encounter. So think differently about the mundane. And then of course there's just the coolness factor of having this at the table. You know, make one for each player, and they can get an appreciation for having a sack of 100 of these things or 10,000 of these things. So I am Wylock, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.